Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Brickanista Broadcast Network here on YouTube and on Rumble. And I'm here with my really fine co-host here, Royal Bricks 503, also known as Grant. How's it going, Grant?
Well, how are you?
Well, as you probably can hear, my voice is a little squeaky today. And so I'm getting over, I guess, some sort of cold or something. And I'm jokingly telling people that I am going through puberty right now. So if my voice goes a little squeaky, you'll understand why.
It's okay. We're the Brady's changes.
Yeah, yes, exactly. We're here for change, definitely. And a Brickaroo Bonsai's in the house. Aloha hoy. How's it going, Brickaroo? And of course, Duck Bricks is in the house and he's waiting in the back room. But before I introduce our guests, I should mention PT is working with his son today because his son has a tournament, a basketball tournament. And PT does a lot of the statistics for the teams and he needs to be there, of course, to support his son. So good luck, G-Man. We are rooting for you too over here. And Groovy Bones is here. And Grant's here. Yes, that's right.
Hey, Sam.
Sam had mentioned he's a big fan of yours, so he was really excited to hear you're going to be co-hosting today. And we also, I remembered your question, Sam, that we will ask Christopher and Robert when they are on the show when we bring them in. But both Grant and I are members of Portlug, and we have primarily broadcast out of I'm actually based in Vancouver, just over the river. So we're over here. Oh no, what is Sam plotting? Did you want to do the lower thirds? I know that we will be doing the lower thirds kind of in tandem because of what happened last week is that I wasn't able to get the slideshow in the way I wanted to, or I should say last week was PT 2 weeks ago when Grant and I were co-hosting for Halloween, where we had Brad and Mike, which was amazing. In fact, they've already volunteered. They're going to take my on-air sign and they're going to illuminate it for me. This does have an illumination feature where you can, it's battery operated, but they're going to like bling it out for me. So I'm super excited about that. But, oh, look, Jesse's Brick Galaxy is here too. And so we have, lots of people here, really excited and really happy to introduce our guests who are in the house. Please help me welcome Christopher, also known as Duck Bricks. How's it going?
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. Super excited to be on. And let's get the party started.
Of course. And we also have
Hello. Also excited to be here.
Yes, and what an exciting episode. What's been fun is that we sent out the schedule ahead of time about the Tuesdays that we're going to be here. And I'm not sure if you were strategic about it when you said, we want this date. And it was because, of course, we didn't know what you were doing at the time. But what a delight to have you here for this particular episode. And what fun it was for that. So before we get started with our little slideshow, can you give us a little bit of background about who was it that decided to really want to be on Lego Masters and pulled the other one in? And how did that all come about?
I think Robert should tell this story.
Okay.
Should I? Well, I can tell my angle from it. Chris has always been a massive Lego collector,
Oh, yeah.
I think at this point, the largest Lego set, collection in the world. And about a year ago, he pinged me and was like, yo, you want to be on a reality TV show?
As I do.
As Dude. Does. We go way back. We've been startup co-founders. We, studied in the same program in college, worked on a lot of interesting projects together. And, when Chris, popped the question, I was like, heck yes, right? Of course I'm going to Of course, I'm going to say yes. It's always fun doing stuff with Chris, and we always turn out pretty interesting things. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Robert pretty much summed it up. I felt like he was the craziest of my friends and also probably the only of my friends who was likely to actually say yes to leave for the maximum amount of time that we were told was like almost 2 months to leave. He was studying at the time. He was still in school, so it was to leave school for up to 2 months and maybe try this out. And now I did give him the caveat that I'm not that good of a Marcus, so I was like, look, we're probably going to get out episode 1 or 2. So you don't need to worry about missing that much school. It's going to be fine. We're going to be out pretty quickly, but Robert was really a champ. There was a little bit of wavering by episode 5. He was like, dude, I don't know if I can do this anymore, but we stayed strong and we pulled through. So
well, you're still going. I mean, we've just finished episode 7.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
Lewis is in the house. Hey, Lewis, good to see you here. Hey, all. And is this Chris or is this evil Chris? I don't know. I think it's one and the same. And it's funny. I mentioned this last week when we were talking to Sam and Nina, that we have a follower, Joel, who goes by Have Studs Will Travel. And he said he wanted to be the villain. So he is kind of living vicariously through you, because he said, I don't have any mock skills, but I'll partner with somebody who is a good person who can build, and I'll be the villain. And he said that multiple times. So it was just hilarious that when we saw this villain persona come out in you, that which we truly don't believe. We don't think you're a villain. We think it's all a shtick here, but we
that's
do.
what I want you to think.
Oh, okay. That's your whole evil plan.
Oh.
Well, I think you must have Will Arnett in stitches, because there's several times where he's just having a hard time holding back his laughter when you're going through all of this. Just so
we had
fun.
A lot of fun on set.
I bet. Now, Debo Brooks says, mockist is a weighty term. I'm adopting it. I'm glad you're here, Debo, because, we've Debo is also a master of puns, and we have quite a few people in the chat who are big punsters. So super excited about this. But we really wanted to also find out, because you have 7,000 sets. Is that what you said on the?
I think we're up to 9 now, but at the time of filming, it was 7. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So where do you have like a map of all of your mocks in your room, or how do you go about inventorying all of what you have?
Honestly, I feel like I have a pretty solid grasp of like where everything is for the most part in my collection. Because I set everything up, so I feel like I kind of know where to find everything. But recently, actually, just made a new city, which is really exciting.
Wow!
But it's certainly been quite a journey. And I've been collecting Legos since I was probably around like 7 or 8, and I never had a Dark Ages. Been collecting ever since.
And before the show, you said you didn't do mocks, that you were only a set builder, right?
Pretty much. I would say it's more due to the fact that all my pieces are not sorted. I don't have any sorted bricks. I've been trying to literally find someone to pay. I mean, I've paid my friends to try and sort things. I've paid like random to try to sort my bricks, but it's never been super fruitful. So I would love to be able to do more mocks, but until I actually get the near insurmountably overwhelming amount of pieces sorted, I don't know how easy it's going to be.
Well, before we get there, Lewis has a statement of he's a human spreadsheet.
Yeah, we have heard this comment from Lewis. Lewis is like one of our regulars now. He shows up, I think, to every show, and he talks about you and how, even though you have not been a mock builder, you know techniques, and that you have in your brain all of these techniques all memorized, and that you can just whip things out because you've done so many different sets. And he calls you Chris AI 3.0.
I mean, if anyone's the robot between me and Robert, I have to say it's Robert, because he came into Lego Masters with basically no Lego experience. I mean, you played with Lego as a kid,
Right.
but after a week of training, I remember we were kind of like, he went over to my house, he was practicing. I would get up at like 3, 4 a.m. and he would be sitting on his computer messing around with Studio, just nonstop
Oh,
and just learning and absorbing information. And honestly,
wow.
I was blown away how Robert performed on the show. I'm not gonna lie, I did not have high hopes. I did not have high expectations, but they were completely obliterated because
That's
he really
hilarious.
pulled his weight strong.
I want you
So
to
I
be
have-
my partner, but I don't have high hopes for you.
No, he didn't have high hopes for himself. I have a question about your collection though. So of your 9,000 now, are all of them built or are most of them built?
I would say most of them are built. I mean, I'm building one right now, but out of the ones that
course
I
he
mean, I
is.
try to keep everything built. So everything, once I build it, it doesn't come apart.
Mhm.
But I
Okay.
guess due to the nature of how I collect things, there's always a backlog, and so there's many sets that are sitting and waiting to be built. But as of right now, yeah, it's almost. I'm actually almost caught up, so I'm pretty happy.
So
Wow.
Chris, we
So-
may have to talk. My happy place is sorting, so we may
Oh,
be able to work
yeah.
something out.
Hey, okay. Well, hey,
You're in
let's
Seattle
thing-
now, right?
my-
Because you used to be in Oregon. Is that why you're called Duck Bricks?
No, actually,
Oh.
Duck Bricks actually came from I feel like it is kind of two meetings. I had a stuffed animal duck when I was a kid, and that was kind of became the mascot of the channel called Duckity because I
Oh.
was a very inventive namer of animals when I was a kid. But I guess you can also think of the Lego wooden duck if you want to think about it like that. But that
Yeah,
is
that's
where
true.
duck is from.
That's
Yeah,
true.
when I
the
saw your
wooden duck.
story-
See, all this time I thought you were from the Oregon area because they said you were from the Pacific Northwest. I said, well, Duck
No.
Bricks, he's got to be Portland area. Oh, wow.
I do love Portland though. Lots of used Lego stores there. There's like
Yes.
gosh, there's like 8 or 9. Yeah.
And we have another comment in the chat. Comic Boy 750, welcome to the stream. Loving Chris's evil personality in the show. Evil Will must be jealous. Can't wait for next week's episode. So that would be a great matchup. Evil
Well, they said-
Will with Evil Chris.
That
But
would be.
maybe that's why, because early this season they said Evil Will was retired, so maybe that's why for this season he's retired.
Well, I don't know. I have a feeling he might come out of retirement because he feels threatened.
We'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see.
And Lewis also says he has a progress bar over his head at all times. That's hilarious. And hello, Ninja Kai. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so let me ask, all those sets you have hanging from the ceiling, how do you hang them up? Do you use fishing line or what do you do for that?
Exactly. It's I pretty much just use fishing line. It's super simple. It's actually a lot simpler than I think a lot of folks would think because it's
Yeah.
you just kind of find a way to balance a set and it just works. The hardest ones that I have hanging up are like the biggest ones. Like I just hung up the UCS Venator and admittedly that one took me like a couple of tries and I had to recruit some friends to like, all right, stabilize it and I'll get the string around this part and find the right section. But if it's not like something like that, I would say most of the other stuff hanging is pretty simple and easy. And if you can get a beam finder for something heavy, it's super easy to do and it looks pretty fun. So yeah, I love doing it.
So you use a fishing line and then what connects to the ceiling? Do you have like a hook or some like a cup hook or something? Or how do you do that?
I get like metal hooks. So there are like metal hooks that I get from like Home Depot, and they're basically screws and they screw into the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
And I found that most Lego sets, I mean, you could even put it straight in the drywall, depending on how your house is set up. But
Right.
They
But for the
usually-
heavier ones, you're right, use a beam.
right. Yeah.
Now it's funny, you called it a beam finder, but I think we've known it as a stud finder too.
Oh, yeah.
I could use one of those. Fishing
You
line
are-
is the best. Yes, Devo, definitely. And Groovy Bones also says if Evil Will retired, died, and came back to possess Chris on the air.
Suspect something like that happened.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. And we're really glad to have you here. Jesse's Brick Galaxy says, I was at the Fold concert at Brick World Chicago around Chris. Where do you rank that show in Lego related experience?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, we really got to get Robert out there next year. Robert, you better pull up with me.
It's on the calendar.
Oh,
Yeah, okay,
so
good.
you will be
Yes.
at Brick World next year?
That's
Because
the
I
plan,
have it on my
yes.
calendar too. A couple of
Oh,
my
okay.
followers said they really wanted me to go. I wanted to wait until New Hashima came back, and they said
Yeah.
it's probably better if you don't go when New Hashima's there because it just takes up so much attention
Yeah.
from all the other mocks. So,
yeah.
oh, Groovy Bones, you're hilarious. Stud Finder goes too crazy in the Lego room though,
And here's my
Stud
favorite.
Finder would now find Alex. Oh yeah, we have a photo of Alex where the Stud
That's
Finder
later.
would go crazy. Definitely. Yeah.
That's later,
Robert
Lewis.
is going.
Oh.
Well,
Yes.
speaking of all of these fun references to the show, I wanted to mention we do have this slide deck, and wanted to thank also before we get started, Brad. So Brad from episode 1, he created these digital sig figs that you saw in the opening sequence, and I think he did some of those for you too on the cast, right?
He did. He even got us templates for stickers, and we got stickers
Yeah.
printed. They're so cute.
I love what he did with mine, and it was so adorable. And he already did one for Royal Bricks 503. So I said, okay, we're putting them on the air. It's great. So thank you again for being on the show. I'm just going to scroll through this real quick. So
Before we get too far, Debo
Yeah.
was saying that next year's badge sale just went on live for Brick World Chicago.
Well,
oh,
thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna get that right after this podcast.
what are badge sales? What am I missing? Are you talking about the engraved badges, Debo?
I think they you're now able to register to go.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I guess we're all going to be multitasking, or right after the show, we're all going to be registering. There's a
Yep.
blip right after, the 6:00 broadcast on the BBN.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So, I have to say, Amy is just rocking this leather jumpsuit.
Yeah.
OMG. I mean, when she did the hat fashion show for season 2, and they really blinged her out as well, I was like, oh my God, they're really, she's very statuesque to begin with, but, to have this, and we have a later shot of her and Jamie together. But this was a lot of fun, is the Brick Chic magazine. And for those of you who haven't seen the episode, I'm sure most of you in the chat have, but this reminded me of the dog collar episode for season 3, where they had to run to get the magazines. And thankfully, you didn't knock that Brick Chic table over. But I was just waiting for that to happen. I don't know. Did they tell you, whatever you guys do not tip over the table? Did they mention anything like that?
There was we had a couple of the mad rushes because there was episode 2 with the cats. I'd say that one was a little bit even more intense than this one because that had a lot more people.
Right.
But I remember that one. Shout out to Jordan. We were fighting over the fish themed one, and his claws came out for that episode, literally and figuratively speaking.
Wow.
But that was a very, very funny time. Whenever they have hey, go run and get this, it's always a crazy dash because I feel like that can really significantly impact how well you do if you have something in mind that you're
That's
I really
true.
want to do this.
Yep.
You gotta get this
Yeah.
one. And I think Robert and I were pretty aligned on this one as well. We both immediately wanted fall. We looked at each other. We're like, yep, let's do fall. And thankfully, no one else grabbed it. So we were actually the only ones that did it, which was a bit surprising to me. But so it worked out for this one. The cat one, that one was a little bit more scary for me.
Right. Well, I tell you, it is kind of funny because here's the reaction of the cast when they first see all the different themes, and you can kind of see you guys are plotting to figure out which ones you're going to go get.
Oh, yes.
But before we get started, we have the brief. What is it exactly you're doing? And you are going to be creating a fashion handbag for a season. So spring, summer, fall, or winter. I decided to put it in a traditional order. I know they didn't do that on the show, but I was explaining to Chris and Robert. I said, my brain just can't handle things when they're not in the right order. So you're supposed to create this fashion handbag, which is going to be appropriate for the season, colorful and wearable / holdable. And it's at least one team member will be modeling the bag in the photo shoot. And you have 8 hours to do this. And speaking of running for the different magazines, so I was hoping that Emily or Kelly was going to be in this chat, because we interviewed Emily and Kelly, and Emily said, "I'm not the athletic one. Kelly's the athletic one. So she's the one who always runs for things." Well, we have proof here, folks. Emily's out in front and Kelly's way in the back. And Will just has this kind of, slouched stance while he's waiting for everybody to pick their different seasons. But anyway, I thought it was hilarious. This one I took from the broadcast, which I thought was hilarious. So here are the 4 seasons. And what was great about this is that they had these backdrops for your photo shoot. And I was just kind of, when I was putting this together, I didn't realize that there was a mushroom in fall. That's one massive mushroom, if you look at that. And when you were deciding on fall, was that also because of the backdrop, or was that because you just liked that season?
Yeah. Did you see them beforehand?
No. No, we did. But I think both Chris and I were super aligned on fall. I don't think there was even much of a discussion. We know the judges like color. Fall has a lot of really interesting holidays and stories behind it.
True.
So it felt like the obvious choice for us. And as Chris said, we were super surprised that none of the other teams went for it.
Yeah, I know my favorite season's fall. Robert's favorite season is fall. And most importantly, my mom's favorite season is fall. And that was the only thing going through my mind when I was like, oh, we got to make a bag. Well, that's what I know. So fall was the very easy choice for us. We were incredibly worried that people would be going for fall. So we really made sure to sprint forwards and just grab it immediately. But it was actually quite nice because no one else got it. So we were like, oh, okay, well, that's fine then. We didn't need to stress too much.
That's true. And Comic Boy has an interesting comment. The firefighters destroying the table in order to get the Dalmatian was my favorite moment from last season. Well, we interviewed them and they said that they were told, and first of all, the doctors were really upset because they said, you got to run and compete for this. And the doctor said, this is not a good idea. There's going to be a problem. And then, of course, they did that, and they did several takes, and they decided to go with the one where they destroyed the table. And that's why this scene reminded me of that moment. Was, I was just waiting for that table to fall over. I think all of us were saying, are they going to tip the table over?
Yeah, I was thinking actually Chris is going to fly over the top of it.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, but I do like Sam's comment over here. Kelly, like mom, has a good sense to just wait.
Right. Well, when we were interviewing them, Emily said she kept telling Kelly to go for the winter scene because that was when you had the different islands for the volcano, I think. And they told us that they ended up with the white with, I guess, a blue border, which is supposed to be the rain clouds, and that Sam and Nina got the one with the winter scene, and they wanted to switch, but they wouldn't allow them to switch.
Oh.
So even if you have your mind set on what you really want, you might get there and you find out, oh, that wasn't the one we wanted. But it all worked out. It all worked out fine.
Yes.
So speaking of bags, so Kelly and Emily had the spring asymmetrical bag.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. I thought it was interesting, too, just in the cartoon, how they have the K and the E here, which... I don't know. Or is that supposed to be, is that an E or a C?
Yeah,
or
it's an E. It's an E.
It is an E. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, it's kind of small. but
Well,
I
that's
wasn't
that's
sure.
that's
it's like a
exactly how it is
flower.
on their final build.
Yeah, and so here's a candid shot that we got from Endemol Shine. So thank you, Endemol Shine, for your support. And you can kind of hear out. Let me see. I can zoom on this one now. You can kind of see that here's the
Yeah.
tag.
Yep.
So I guess that is an E, a K
It's
and
really
E.
smart. Wow.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Kelly and Emily, and it's a flower too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice this top until I saw this particular shot that we got from them. But yeah. So, any thoughts? Were you like watching them while they were building, or were you just so engrossed in your build and getting it done?
Well, we were pretty engrossed, but I will say that this looked so good in person because the way that they did the kind of like quote unquote fabric design on the side,
Yeah.
it looked different from different angles. It almost looked like the bag was like flexing or bending because they had like one alternating vertically, one horizontally. I mean, Emily and Kelly are really, really talented. Kelly, I think, just had her builds showcase at the Lego house and
Yes.
Lego campus. Really, really cool. I mean, some of the most talented builders, both of them that I've ever gotten to interact with. And this was super cool to see him put it together because what I remember from the very like brief glimpses I saw of them building, for the most part, it was kind of just a black cage until near the end when they put on like these really, really nice looking curves. And I remember turning to Robert and saying like, oh, that looks like fabric. Like that looks really cool. So definitely really, I think in person seeing this, and it's quite big too. I mean, that's like, that's the size of like someone's body. So that was, really
it's a good 2 feet tall.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We have two comments two questions that I kind of want to bring up. We have James says, I'm curious to know if there were moments that Will or the Brickmasters forgot their lines or instructions and had to do multiple takes, or was it seamless like the viewers see?
Well, there's certainly a lot of editing involved, lots and lots of different takes. I will say Will nails his lines like 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 at the time. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Well, and I assume also what I hear other people say is that there's also much that he doesn't get in because it's so,
well,
there's a lot of jokes that he says that don't always make the cut.
Well, the thing is, Will says a lot of really funny jokes that they definitely can't air on TV.
Right.
So I think the reactions of us just cracking up might be actually from those, and then
from the
they'll
other
maybe say something
from the
like
other jokes.
a little bit more tame afterwards, and we're like, ah, ha, ha, and then they'll use the more exciting reaction, I think. But yeah,
that's something I saw. That's something I
us.
heard from Tacos last season, that she was saying that people's like, that joke wasn't that funny, but you had a big reaction. It's like, yeah, because it wasn't the joke that I was reacting to.
It was the joke that they couldn't air.
Yeah, the reaction's real. The joke was not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's another question that was, Debo says, was the bag clasp or tag required in the builds?
Not at all.
The only thing that was required was that you had to be able to lift it by handle, I think, and pose it. That was, I think that was the only requirement that I remember. But I feel like they did encourage people to come up with some sort of a brand or some sort of a tag on it. I don't recall, Robert, if that was just feedback to us or feedback to everyone, but I do somehow have a strong memory of that being emphasized in some way.
Yeah, I don't know if that was emphasized to everyone. I think they kept the requirements really flexible for this challenge. They just wanted it to be like, if you're doing a photo shoot, you can pose with your bag in some way, shape, or fashion, however you want to do it. Whether that's like a handle or a clasp or just being able to hold it up. I think they're super flexible with that. In terms of the branding stuff, I think they definitely liked our center thing when the judges.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they said that to every team, though.
Yeah, you have
that makes
to
sense.
build.
Well, to me, that was like, there was very much a piece of like when you were talking about it, that it's all about the branding and all about that luxury, and that luxury is that tag. That luxury has to have that tag to me. So that was
right.
Spot on.
And then Lewis also says it had to open.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. It did. That was a requirement. It did have to
oh,
open. I forgot about that. Yeah.
interesting. That's that actually puts things in perspective too. So I'll need to update that requirement slide
Well,
because
that
that
was so
wasn't on the air where you had to be able to open it. It just talked about you had to be able to wear it and you had to be able to
yeah.
take a photo shoot with it of some sort. So
Right.
Well,
thank you, Lewis, for that inside info.
that was
I
the funny
forgot
thing. So
about that. Yeah.
this is actually one of my favorite episodes, and I had to recreate it. So I actually this week actually made my bag using the same 8 hours. And
Oh,
when
nice. Yo,
You
wait,
have it
let's see
with
it.
you?
I actually about 10 minutes before you went on air, I actually finished it. So I'll show you in a minute.
Oh,
Okay.
but-
Oh shoot. I'm
I was
actually
gonna
really
say, you
excited
should
now.
show
Yeah.
okay.
So-
Do you have it ready?
in a minute, let me finish so I had a friend who one of my friends is like, so I had done it where I knew that I had to get the opening and closing class part. And
Yeah.
my friend's like, just leave it open, it's fine. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure there was a secret requirement that you had to have an open or some because
Ah.
all of y'all had something that opened and closed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think that was some kind of secret requirement. So let me
Okay.
go pull that.
All right.
Oh my
We'll-
god. Well,
we're
I'm excited now. I
anxiously
want to see
awaiting
it.
in anticipation. And I will tell you, he did not tell us this before the broadcast. This is surprise from Grant for all of us here.
I did not say
Okay,
that.
here we go. We're giving you full screen. Oh my God! Look
Whoa.
at that!
Beautiful.
Wow! You did this in 8 hours too?
I did.
Wow.
So the other thing for me is that the is currently I made another challenge and it also does open.
Nice.
Nice.
So my challenge to myself was I was 90%
Can you lift it
of
up some more? I want to see the tag that you made.
That one I just at the very end. I'm like, okay, I had one, but oh man, I need to finish it. So
Oh,
I
I
didn't quite
love it.
get the idea I wanted. That was I was putting this on as the timer went off, and I'm like, dang it, I can't finish it.
Oh,
That was the bricks down, you know.
yep, bricks down. That's okay. You can finish it post.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Stream. Wow. So are you practicing to be a Lego master in the future?
Yeah, I think you have to now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We'll see. But that was actually a very so I was actually when they announced this episode, I was at a watch party for Kelly.
Yeah.
Or Kelly's watch party, and I left the room. I was so mad. I was so mad that I'm like, this is my episode. This is what I needed. Oh, because I love wearables and fashion, and so I'm like, oh, it's so mad.
Yeah. Well, I think were we at the same watch party?
We
I
were.
think so, and they announced it. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she, I think, said she wasn't going to have a watch party for this episode because she was
Right.
going to be in Arizona, I think, with Emily
Michigan
or Michigan.
yeah.
Oh,
She did Emily a few episodes ago. Yeah.
And there's another comment in the chat too that Debo says, Lewis, I was fascinated by how intricate your build was and devastated when you
Thanks.
had to rip it apart. We will get there. We will get there in a moment. But yes, I think we were cheering for everybody. And I think it's always really gut-wrenching when you see a team have to pivot at any point.
Yeah.
You know, that started all the way from, episode 1 where Brad and Mike had to pivot and you just, 4 hours passed before they actually got their idea together. But
yeah, my other part of this one is that, or my bag, is that I had, I gave myself the rule of I could only use 90% of it had to be currently from the Lego wall within a month of the pick wall.
What?
Oh,
So this is
You actually put that
that is-
requirement on you too?
I did.
Oh my God.
So this is like only like the internal structure and a few of the other parts were not from the wall. And
Now, what
because
about
right
the
now
handles?
because they are doing the build to give, I had to do hearts. So
Yeah. What the
That's where I
handles?
went.
So are those? Are you using mixel joints or what are you
yeah,
using
so
there?
it's just the mixel joints. Yeah, I went really
Okay.
simple with those. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, still, that's pretty impressive because you can hold it. Are you going to wear it out in public too?
We'll see. Probably.
At the next Lego watch party, you got to bring it to show Kelly. Seriously, dude. Cool. All right. So I think the next slide we have here I think I have to put it. There we go. Hello. My laptop's not talking to me. I think it still thinks we're. Oh, there we go. This is what I wanted to show you too. Is we got this from Endemol Shine, where you can kind of see Will with the apple in his mouth. So this is definitely wasn't broadcasted, but just this scene of Will hamming it up for the camera is. I kind of did that as a pun. Did you catch that? Hamming it up with the apple in his mouth. Gee, I have to explain these things to you. I think Devo got it. So, but what was great about this is you can actually see what they did with craft services too, because you don't see this on the shows, as you very rarely get the behind the scenes look. So I really love this just from a production value with all the lighting in the background, you know, the filters on the lights, the production assistants, and all of that. So that was a lot of fun to see. Okay, so our next spring line is Nina and Sam. So Sam, if you're still in the chat, loved this too.
Oh,
This is a great, we got this from Endemol Shine too, some of these candid shots. So this look on Sam's face is great. But this is a close-up. Did you see his tattoo? Did you see this knife tattoo?
Sam has very cool tattoos.
Look at that tattoo. You don't see that
is awesome.
very often, but it's also very, prominent in this shot. And it's like he's almost like shocked that he's got a knife on his arm in this.
He's also got like a really cool sun and moon one as well. That looks really, really cool.
And Groovy Bones is like, oh, look at that. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. See?
I think actually one of my favorite things in the past week has been all the 6 facts about me. So seeing that, because Sam talked about that he had the kitchen knife on his arm, and seeing Christopher, you talking about like how you're the logo and stuff. Like, so I've been loving seeing all these
little Easter eggs. I know, and I also like that this is a nice little view of the internal structure. You can kind of see here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see more of the internal structure of how he got that angle for the bag as well.
I remember being so impressed seeing that come together, and that was like, oh my God, that looks like a real bag. Because I saw them like sticking together little like 1x1 cylinders of like, what is he cooking over there? And then I saw that structure and I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to look really good when it's done. And it sure, as usual, as usual. It sure did.
Here's the comment. You can't even see the one they covered up. What tattoo did they cover up?
That sounds like you have to go see Sam at a conference and see the tattoos. And then Debo did get my pun. Thank you, Debo. I got it. You just roasted Will to an internal temperature of 145. And Debo knows because he has done a lot of chef work. But like I said, I love some of these shots that we get from Endemol Shine because they show some of the background. But this one is so adorable. Yeah. This is the beauty shot of the bag prominently shown with Sam and Nina together. And I wish they would have propped the bag up a little bit for this shot, but still, it's a beautiful shot.
So I've been loving Sam's his mini builds.
Yes,
I think he missed the mark on this one because of that. He had the handle just regularly like.
He didn't put it all.
Neat. This one, that handle, that bag was nice and jagged. So
nice and jagged. Well, there you go, Groovy Bones. Sounds like you need to do a model 2.0 for Grant. So Royal Bricks 503 has spoken. So, that is so funny. But I love this shot too because Nina just looks like she's having so much fun. And this is the shot where he said, "Get your leg up. Get your leg up." And poor Nina is like, which leg? Which leg are you talking about?
So what I also find funny of that is in Seattle for BritCon, there was a moment where it was actually Sam, Sammy, and one of Sam's friends were walking back after having some drinks, and there was a moment where we stopped and his friend did a photo shoot, and I'm like,
Oh.
get your leg up. So it's hilarious that kind of is.
Oh, how funny!
I love that.
I'm doing a close up here because I wanted to show you that you see the N, and I think this is an S, or is this supposed to be a backwards G? Because I was wondering if it was, you know how those stylists, because I was looking at this closely. I said, that kind of looks like a G in a way, like a backwards G for Groovy Bones. So I was curious, Sam, if you did that.
So he's in the chat. So
he's in the chat. It doesn't look like an S to me. It looks like a backwards G, which would be very clever. So I'm giving you kudos for the very clever use of your initials. Because if people knew you as Groovy Bones, that would be great. My mini builds are more representations rather than replicas. Okay. So I guess that means you're not getting a 2.0, Grant. Sorry.
I didn't expect one.
Come on, Sam, just make it.
It's definitely an S. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, it didn't look like an S to me.
Well, it's just a hard. I think from the angle we have it here, I think it's hard to see.
It could be the angle. So sorry. See, I thought you were being very clever with doing like a G backwards. You know how some of those designers do that. Okay. Oops. Okay. Here we go. Bear with me as I get this. We're doing this with PDF because this other laptop did not like the PowerPoint last time. So we have the Summer Beach Bag by Allison and Melanie. And I will tell you, I had a shot of Melanie displaying this, but I must have forgotten to put it in here. But I thought this angle, this is the beauty shot they sent us, that this angle isn't as representative, I think, as when they brought it out on stage and they had the strap removable. But I think with their whole concept of a beach bag, I think could have worked. It's just that it's it just didn't make the cut compared to everybody else.
So I'm going to go back and have. I'm pretty clever. Just not that clever.
Just not that clever. I was giving you props for that. That's okay. So, but going back to this with Allison and Melanie, I think too, they may have mentioned that as they were looking around the room, there is a comment that Allison made about how Sam has a lot of experience with techniques about, with the bendability and such. So, okay. Speaking of summer, Miami Beach Bag. So let's forewarn everybody. This next section of shots may not be as PG as one would
too many studs on screen, you gotta.
Yes, yep.
Howdy, Naomi in chat. Well, Lena, I'm glad you dropped in. So Lena's overcoming illness right now, so we hope you feel better. Hey, Lena. Skip these. I don't know. Well, first let's talk about the concept. The concept was really cool that you are, paying homage to Miami, where you're based, and also, the colors of Miami. I just love this cartoon rendition of the colors of your bag. And Comic Boy 750 also says, I actually really like the design of this one. With the sun on one side and the sunset on the other, the previous one. Yeah. Oh, skip this one except for Alex's picture. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have some more photos.
This is not that bad, Louis. I thought it was not bad. I thought it was pretty cool how you got it to open
love
up.
The design.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the opening and closing part, right? That if you had to open it, that's where they had an issue.
Yeah. Well, I bet if you're able to finish it, it would look really, really good because, that was some crazy flex in there with the treads being used and the clips. Imagine opening that up like almost like a drawstring bag. That would have been, I mean,
That would
I
have
feel
been
like
dope.
an hour more, maybe. Well, I mean, you could say, I think a little bit more time, you probably could have pulled it off, because that was a very, very inspired technique. And honestly, like, I kind of want to try building something like that now, because I remember looking over and being very impressed by what you were trying to pull off and being like, I would have never thought to use bricks in
Yeah.
that way before. And that was very impressive and ambitious.
It might also be a challenge for Grant to do in 8 hours as well. Now that you've done the bag challenge once, you can take another swipe
stab
at
at
it.
a different, yeah.
Actually, opening is the only thing that works.
But does it
That's
close?
hilarious.
If it opens, does it close?
So this shot, I had to put this shot in because it was like, look away, look away. I think it's hilarious too that Alex came in wearing sunglasses with that coat. Oh my God.
So
that
good.
robe.
I think my favorite shot of the entire episode was actually in the trailer, where it's actually Alex just behind Will in those glasses and stuff. Like, he looks so swag. I loved it.
Yeah, it is hilarious. And it was really entertaining when I heard Alex was modeling this in a Speedo. Me and brother couldn't stop laughing. Well, and he said it with such confidence too, that he was, I'm going to rock a Speedo.
It's the first thing he said. There's no question.
Bring it.
But here's my thing. It wasn't a Speedo. So was that, did they veto the Speedo? Like, I don't know.
Well, I think that was because they had to tone it down because it's a family-friendly show.
Probably.
I think if he was allowed to have a Speedo, he probably would have rocked the Speedo. Seriously, maybe Lewis, you have some background on that. About did they force him to change out of a Speedo? Maybe he said, "Hey, he carries Speedos with him everywhere." Who knows? You know.
They're too afraid of the sheer power
we'll
that
be here
would
in a
hold.
couple weeks. We'll have to ask Alex. You know. So do you just like carry Speedos with you everywhere because you're always going to be in the pool, or what? The powers that be kept adding fabric with each option.
Fair.
Oh my God. So speaking of which option, this is what we got.
Gorgeous.
I love this shot just because he looks so serious and he's really working it, right? Speedo also makes swim trunks, just saying. Well, this is true. But I don't think that's what he intended. I think he intended a real, the classic Speedo.
I am also surprised that they let the more balls joke go. I didn't actually think that would make the edit.
I know. I was surprised that was in there too. We need more balls. And I wish that they had the shot of him, pushing the ball up in the air, because he just had that playful look on it. But he looks so serious here. Like, yes, I'm working it, and I'm gorgeous. And
right side
here's your final build. This is this shot that they gave us for the beauty shot, and really great partnership there. You guys look great. And now we come to the fall leaf handbag. Beach balls, people.
yeah.
That's great.
Was he really talking about beach balls at that point?
Probably. It was a fun episode, I will say that.
Great.
Well, first of all, before we get started on your bag, this was a really awesome tribute to your mom. And these photos were so cute to see, but it also made me worried, because whenever they do background discussions, they usually means the team's going home, right?
Well,
I was really worried. I said, no, I hope they're not going home.
But it's always two. It's if there's a lot of attention, it's either they win or they lose.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh no, I hope they're not going home, because he's talking about his mom and how much this means to his mom. And oh my goodness.
So you said I hope she sees it. Do you know if she's seen it yet?
Yeah, so what I do is here at home we have watch parties where my friends come over and we watch it together here in the Lego room, and then my mom invites and my dad, they invite their family friends and they watch it upstairs. So we kind of watch it at the same time up and down.
Oh, fun.
And so she's seen it. She loves the bag. She kept asking if she would, if there's a chance that I was able to get it home. And I was like, oh, we don't get to keep our builds. But
Right.
I don't think she's watching this podcast. I would be surprised if she was. But so I've actually modeled the actual bag in studio. It's not quite the same bag. It's actually a lot more robust. Some of the color swaps that I really wanted to do have happened.
Nice.
But over the
nice.
weekend, I designed it digitally and I ordered all the pieces. It was around, like, I would say $300-ish, which honestly kind of makes me now want to recreate more of the builds. I was very worried it would be like a lot more, but
Right.
I recreated it, so it should be coming in time for Christmas. So I think that my Christmas video will be like actually giving it to her, and I'll give it to her on Christmas Eve. So we'll have a really
that
fun
would be,
video.
you guys got to take photos of that video.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Everybody,
Yeah.
all of his squirrel friends, got to keep it secret. We don't tell her.
I was gonna say, don't watch
That's what I'm
podcast,
pushing,
Mom.
Oh.
Well, and then Debo has a comment too. The best Canadian themed build by a non-Canadian team.
Well, Robert, do you want to explain how you actually were able to come up with the shape?
Yeah, I mean, so we wanted to do the maple leaf because, well, I don't know if it's a maple leaf, but we wanted to do an autumn leaf, and we were like, what better than to imitate the Canadian flag? But I think we spent the first hour. I was just trying to think, like, what does the Canadian flag really look like? Because like on the show, like you don't get access to internet, you don't get access to any references, so you kind of have to think on the spot. And so I think I drew like 50 to 100 different sketches
What?
on like grid paper on like, this is the Canadian flag we want to go with. But I also think, like, there's the other constraint of like, we can make a really nice looking maple leaf, but at the same time, it has to be a bag, right? There needs to be some space in the middle where you can kind of hold stuff. And so there's always this balance of how do we make this not look like a big spiky blob? And then how do we make this look like a maple leaf? And so there's that compromise, but I think about 40 minutes to an hour in, we got it.
Well, it is a funny comment from Debo because I was thinking the same thing. I was going, how come the Canadian team didn't make a Canadian bag? Well, I guess they had summer.
Sam helped. I remember.
Yes, that's what I was saying. You asked Sam what it looked like from across the room. I remember that.
That was like...
He's like giving you hand gestures. Oh, funny.
Exactly. Sam was like going like this from across the room. I was working on the internal structure, and I was like looking over at Robert, and he and Sam are just going like this or like across. What are they doing?
Oh my goodness.
So I was just about to say, Rob, how did you know how many points there were on the maple leaf?
Yeah. That ain't me. That wasn't me until Sam.
So I guess you should say that Groovy Bones helped with the consult, right, for your bag.
Absolutely.
You should have gotten a consultation fee, get a little like blurb at the bottom of the magazine, like,
or maybe an initial, right, like an S in your initial for the bag. And they say, "What's that S for?" Oh, well, because Groovy Bones gave us, some tip.
Absolutely.
And then I'm sorry.
I love this comment. I love this comment from Lewis.
Yeah.
Make Mom build it.
Yeah.
I think that would quickly turn a Christmas gift into a Christmas nightmare.
I was going to say she would rather, because I've done that with my mom where I've given the wildflower bouquet. Actually, technically, I built it with my nieces and nephews, and then they built it for me on my birthday. And then my mom loved it so much that she wanted to keep it. So here's a spoiler alert, Mom. Is that I'm bringing the orchid set for Thanksgiving, and we're going to build it for her there. So I'm excited about that. That's like coming up in about a week or so. But so here's some background shots again. Craft table well displayed with you two in the background. Now, when you decided to pose together, were you surprised that none of the other teams decided to do that? That you were the only team that decided?
We were
to pose
surprised.
Together?
Yeah, we thought almost everyone was going to do it together, but I think I think it was not even a question really. We both were like, let's do this together because it'll be really funny. I think that Robert and I, when they proposed the idea of people modeling, I remember we turned to each other and we were like, we're doing this at the same time, right? And we were like, yeah, 100%. So this was like from the beginning, we were like, oh, we got to do it together. It's going to be so fun.
Right.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That session, well, it's really funny because we didn't know how much time we would actually have going in, and we really wanted to prioritize being able to lift the bag up by just the handle. So we were being very like gentle and ginger with it and being like, okay, let's like slowly lift it up and make sure it doesn't break or anything. So we spent like 10 minutes taking 3 photos, and then Will came on set and was like, how many photos did you guys take? And we were like, oh, we got like 3. And then that was when he was like, come on guys, what are you doing? And really sped it up. So we got a lot of crazy ones at the end, and a lot looser with the bag, but that was so much fun.
Unfortunately, we only had one Speedo.
So that's why only Alex. Okay. So you both would have been Speedo. All right.
All right. Well, here's another funny shot where Will came in with the leaf blower and started adding more leaves. More leaves. We need more leaves. And there is the final product, which is amazing. Beautiful. And actually, this might be a good segue because we have queued up a video from your Instagram account. And we're going to go ahead and cue this up. We did test it before the show, so hopefully everybody can hear this. But first of all, your oratory skills are amazing from all those pitch parties that you've done. And I want to say this is great. So here we go. Oops. Sorry, wrong one. There we go.
Elegance, sophistication, class. Introducing the Leaf, the perfect bag for fall. This bag is capacious, but not ludicrously so. It's not the kind of bag you would slide across the floor in a bank heist or stuff hors d'oeuvres into at a dinner party to take free food, because those are low class. You see, our bag is the perfect size for high society events, galas, dinner parties, hostile company takeovers, all events I'm sure we're all used to. And this bag, everyone is falling for it.
So I have to say that was absolutely amazing. And for those of you who go back, it's actually, when you said it was the leaf, it's actually spelled Leeph.
Right. I wanted to find out what this is about. What's that about?
Yeah, if I click on this, it won't show me the whole description. So if you will share with us what the Leaf, Leeph stands for.
Honestly, we just kind of like, we were like, what is like a dumb, silly thing in fashion?
The worst way
like,
to spell leaf.
Yeah, like people will just spell things in weird ways to like make things sound more exotic. So we were like, I feel like that's something people do in fashion and like design. So we were like, let's just call it something stupid like that. Like,
okay.
Well, it was brilliant. Any of you who go to their Instagram accounts, you can see that video because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And Comic Boy loved the use of the minifigure legs on the bag too. Yeah.
Oh,
I also, you had that Unikitty tail too around some of the edges.
Yes, shockingly expensive. I needed 8 of them, and I went to order them, and I was like, "Oh my god, that is!" We had a bin of those on Lego Masters, and like
I was
those
gonna
are
say
like,
they had those in the brick pit. It's like
right?
wow.
I was surprised.
I think there was leftover stock from specifically the original Disney castle in the brick pit because we had a copious amount of the printed 1x5 by whatever panels with the Disney like arches on them. A ridiculous amount of them, and that only came in that set. And then same for these Unikitty tails with a print on them, only came in the Disney castles. So I was like, oh, they were like clearing out. I don't know what was up with that, but very, very surprising when I went to get all the pieces, and I was like,
yeah, I was amazed when I saw those Unikitty tails.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I can zoom in on this one.
There is a question from Sam. Hey Chris, with that pitch, are you a Succession fan?
So the final season of Succession was airing when we were filming the show, and Sam and I were watching it, I think, as we were filming the show. So we would always talk about the episodes. I think there was the one episode where they were talking about the bag had like just come out right before this one. So I was like, oh, I got to sneak in an Easter egg in the pitch.
Hostile takeovers. Oh my God, that was hilarious. And Spot the Magic Ninja's here. Hey, Spot, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. And then it's like Bee Boop, only Disney Castle, Bee Boop, Bee Boop.
Oh.
That goes back to you being a robot. That all the 1x5 pieces that you can see there.
I will admit, I was perplexed by its inclusion in the show, and Sam can attest to this because I texted Sam when, like, after everything was over, and I was like, dude, what was with those like printed panels? Do you know what that was from? And he didn't know. And I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's from the Disney Castle. So I will have to say that one, I genuinely had no idea where they were from on set. And I texted Sam because I thought he would know. He didn't know. And then I was like, oh, it's such a weird thing to have so many of. Like, I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I was having a hard time with the Zoom, but just trust me, the Unikitty tails are like right here, right on these edges. And you said you needed 8 of them, so 4 on each side, I guess.
And they have a nice gold print on them. They look really, I love those pieces.
They're amazing. Yeah, I was amazed when I saw that on the close-up. Okay, so we're now into winter with Paul and Nolita's duffel bag, which I absolutely loved. I was a little surprised when I first saw them building it because it was so much gray in there. But then with this detailing with the white and also this light blue, I was like, wow, this looks amazing. And Nolita really knows how to work a camera. Oh my God.
So the funny thing is that all the shots are great. They did, the Lego Masters put out all the pictures today. Nolita's is the only one she's not smiling and just kind of like panned. Like of all the pictures that they had, that one to put as the post today.
Yeah, and this one, I love this one particularly because she's got the dogs in the front.
I was gonna say that. That's so cute. Like,
it's
I feel
very
that perfects the look.
It's also, she talks about, putting dogs in your bags, and that's something that a lot of fashion people would do. So it's funny. So there's a couple comments in the chat that are interesting too about
which ones we got. I can absolutely confirm this story.
About, and then maybe it was a hint about the remake for the remake. Which remake of the Disney Castle?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were just like, we changed the color, so we might as well just get rid of all these pieces because we're not going to use them in this color again.
Yeah.
Weird. Just
that could be good shot, Comic Boy. And here's the beauty shot with a close-up of the zipper, which is nice.
That's a great shot. That zipper blew me away. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I love that.
I'm going to try zooming again. All right, so we got the zipper, and then this is the skeleton that he used for the zipper handle. And then this was Amy's point, was that this luggage tag was a little plain. So I don't think they put their initials anywhere on the bag, did they? Well, and we also love this too. These little spigots that they put on the side.
Yep.
It's very wintry.
Well, and with that spot where the studs, I'm wondering if they had enough time, they would have put the logo there.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
This section.
Oh, yeah, they might have run out of time. Yeah, that looks like a perfect place.
Yeah, maybe they did run out of time. Maybe that would have been a P and an L over here. Well, still, it was amazing.
Yep.
Lots of fun to see. And Nolita really does know how to rock a camera. Okay. All right. So I know we're going to try to wrap this up because I know Christopher has another event to go to.
Oh, no, it's just a work meeting, please. I would love to be late if I could.
Oh.
Let's not get him fired.
He's like, sorry, I was busy talking about Lego. So before we go on, Debo has a point here. I think it was just the era of sets available when they stocked the brick pit. Well, I don't know. Unikitty Tales? I mean...
When did season 1 come out? Do you... Because the Disney Castle was 2016, I want to say, the original one.
Yeah. Yeah. So the original... That was 2019, 2020.
Oh, weird.
So,
Yes.
Wow.
Well, the Disney Castle, I guess that was still in circulation because they kept it sort of evergreen for longer than a standard retail set. I'm pretty
Yep.
sure it was still around 2018, 2019.
Yeah, it
So
was
maybe
actually,
it
I
was
think it was
just
still
about to be
until
discontinued and they pulled the stock.
I think it was still on sale until 2021.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, okay. Well, then maybe they. Oh,
Well, it was
weird
pretty,
inclusion.
pretty. Well, you're talking about the original Disney Castle, the large one, right? Not the smaller one.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
2016. Yeah.
Brick
Yeah.
Snaps just posted something about Brick Journal doing a photo of the old castle versus the new castle. I think that was a mock.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
his. That was his castle. Yeah.
That was his castle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that they're taking some colors from that. But anyway, Groovy Bones has an interesting point. Oh, it's just a hostile company takeover for tonight.
Got another one of those.
Just another, company meeting. Like, who are we taking over tonight?
But I also do want to say, and I do love that there was that. I loved hearing in your pitch. There was the like, I want to break character for a minute. I loved hearing that because then hearing like your heart and all that stuff. Like I love that. Because I think this season we've always gotten that kind of the pitch, all the conversation. That's all the edit has been. So I loved literally hearing break character and that heart.
Oh yeah, the whole homage to your mom was just very heartwarming and touching, and even Will mentioned it's good to see the real Chris now. Instead of
I'm surprised they left in the breaking character thing. I that was more of a like, oh, I'm going to stop doing the funny shtick that they asked me, that they were like encouraging me to do, and then actually say something that was legit, so to speak. But no, they left that in, so I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Well, that's nice. It was good to see, a warm side of you too.
Yep.
And Debo says that blue and gray combo is magic. Yes, absolutely. It was really great. So as you can see, the top two teams were Paul and Nolita and Christopher and Robert. So it's good to see you up there again, because I think the last time you were up in the top two was that for the volcano episode?
Yeah, it was for the Bionicle one last
Yes,
time.
and they never said the word Bionicle on air, which
no.
I have a couple pet peeves. They didn't talk about
we
Bionicle.
were even asked not to say it on YouTube videos, actually.
What?
They were
Really?
pretty tight on that, yeah.
Why?
So it was, I think it's I don't
I mean,
wow.
Didn't the Bionicle people, vote up the 90th anniversary thing too, and they still were?
They sure did, and yet still did not get a set.
Oh my
got
God.
the GWP, we stay winning with the gift with purchase.
Well, the other thing that kind of drove me crazy is they didn't say the word tensegrity when they were display model.
Yeah.
It's like, you can do this with balancing. It's like, just say the word tensegrity. It's okay. So they didn't do that either, but they let the Bernoulli principle go on the air. So it's kind of like, okay, how somebody said they were lowering the intelligence level, but I was like, how can they let the Bernoulli principle on, but they can't say the word Bionicle or they can't say the word tensegrity? But anyway,
Bionicle is too big brain for it to be mentioned.
Well, it's also not just big brain, but they don't want to reinvigorate that product line. Right? They've made that very clear.
Even though I think, Chris, I think you are doing a great job reinvigorating it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I love your
all the Bionicle fans were raving about your build just because it was a nice homage to the Bionicle fan.
That's the next one I want to recreate. I think that's probably my favorite one we've done so far is that one. So,
the volcano? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, having to describe the Bionicle volcano without saying Bionicle was peak comedy.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay, so, and as you can see, the winners of the Brick Chic of Fall Fashion, excuse me, on the cover, Brick Chic magazine. And this was also a nice, did your mom see this too? That I hope my mom gets a subscription to Brick Chic magazine.
She wants the magazine now. I don't know what to tell her. I mean, now I think I guess I have to figure out how to like print that on a random magazine cover. I'll take like an extra box magazine I have lying around and tape it over the cover.
Or talk to Joe Mino with Brick Journal, because
yeah.
he's got, the magazine printing capability. Maybe he can just get if you can get permission from Endemol Shine or one of those people to get the cover, he could mock up a magazine for you.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be awesome to and then fill it with stills from the show.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that would be really.
That would be great. I don't know if
idea.
Joe Mino's listening to this, but I'll send you a message, Joe. Maybe you could work something out with. Actually, that would be a great partnership.
Yep.
Is to have Brick Journal work with all of the different seasons, and you could have like a magazine for season 1, 2, 3, and 4 with all of the really cool shots. Why not?
That'd be cool.
Even though
I love Brick Journal. I grew up on Brick Journal. They used to stock them at my local Lego store. So I remember 9, 10, 11 years old. I was getting Brick Journal and reading that. So big fans of theirs.
Well, Joe sold out of subscriptions and the magazines he brought to BrickCon in Seattle. So yeah. I'm going to send him a note after this. I'm going to say, you need to talk to them. And, even if he just does a special run just to see how well it sells, I think it would be actually a pretty cool partnership.
Yeah.
And Alex, this is a funny comment from Devo. Alex gets a centerfold in Brick Chic. Oh my God, that is hysterical. It is so funny.
Well, no, it's got to be one of those pullouts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, really extend the length,
Yep.
And then you'd be able to put it up on a wall. So maybe you make it a poster. That would be funny. And then here once again, as I mentioned about Amy rocking that leather pantsuit. And Jamie with the glasses too. That's
I'm loving those tight pants. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the skinny pants on.
Skinny pants with the blazer. Yeah.
Right. And of course, we have the bottom two for every episode. And in this case, it was Lewis and Alex and Allison and Melanie. So spoiler alert, everybody, if you haven't seen the show. But unfortunately, they had to say goodbye to Allison and Melanie. And I thought the minifigs were really cute here because they used those little
they gave her short legs, not even
junior legs for Melanie. Well, she knows she's petite too. And that was funny when you were doing the push-ups, Robert, and she sat on your back.
I was not expecting
that.
Yeah, she goes, I want to get in on this too. And you thought she probably was going to do push-ups, but no, she just wanted to sit on your back. She seems like quite the pistol. Lots of fun. So that concludes our little slideshow today. And I just wanted to say thank you again for being on the show. It's really a delight to have you both here.
Yep.
Thank you for having us.
What are your next plans? Are you going to be, you said Brick World Chicago. Do you have any other conferences you have on your calendar?
I think Sam talked me into going to BrickCan.
Nice.
So I have a registration for that. I don't know what it is.
I just registered.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I will have to figure out when that is. He texted me on his birthday and was like, "Hey, you're coming, right?" And I was like, "Well, I guess I am now." So he really got me there.
Too, Robert?
Not BrickCan, but Brick World and BrickCon for sure next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we have a group
of in New York too. Chris, you need to fly by and we'll
that's true. Well, New York doesn't really have a show, but you could probably go to Bricks on the Bricks in the Six, the one that's in Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll be doing. I think we're actually, regardless of outcome, we're going to be. I know I'll be going out to New York to watch some episodes with Robert and to watch it with all our friends. So I think that's happening in December. So in the future, even if we're not on the show by then, it's still fun to watch it together. No spoilers, of course. But I miss watching stuff in person with Robert. So I'll be making a few trips out.
And Sam says, "Let's go!
Let's go! BrickCan, baby!" That's right. Yeah. Officially announced November 14th through the 17th. So Bricks in the Sticks. I'm trying to get it right. Bricks in the six, right? Yeah, there we go. Bricks in the six.
Yep.
Sam, you gave me a heart attack there. I thought you were talking about Brick Can. I was like, oh, that's today. I guess I'm going to Canada tonight. See y'all.
No. Well, once again, thank you so much for being on the show. For those of you who are not following them yet, you can go to duck_bricks on Instagram or Robert Frank Zhang on Instagram. Also, Royal Bricks 503 on Instagram as well, because you're listening to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. Please like and subscribe to the stream if you haven't already. I was so excited that Poppy became my 1,400th follower on Instagram.
Hey, Poppy.
adorable.
Yes, Poppy.
And Ben and Poppy should be on the show in a couple weeks too. So very excited
Awesome.
about that. And you can also send snail mail to the Brickanista Broadcast Network, P.O. Box 87232, Vancouver, Washington. And just wanted to say thank you again for being on the show. Did you have any closing remarks or anything you wanted to say before we close this out?
Robert, I'll let you go first.
Thank you guys for having us on. This was so much fun as always. And just stay tuned. Next episode's gonna be a fun one.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. You and Emily, Christopher and Emily definitely have a lot of airtime.
Our legendary battle made it to air next episode. I'm very excited for this one.
Did you have a lot of experience with, cars? And I mean, besides the mocks that you've been doing,
Not
I guess.
at all.
Wow.
Not in the slightest.
Wow.
And you'll find out next week or
Okay.
in a few days just how much experience I had. But
That sounds great. I think we have another comment in the chat before we close. I see it up there, but I'm in a different screen.
Which one we got? We got
Bricks on the beach.
Or the Bricks in the Sticks, say that 10 times fast.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And yes, good times, great show. Thank you, Debo. Really great to have you all here. Thank you, chat.
Thank you.
Spot the Magic Ninja, Groovy Bones, Lewis, Debo, Comic Boy 750, and anybody else. I think Jesse was here earlier too. Jesse's Brick Galaxy.
Oh, yep.
Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. Shamey also was here. I'm curious to know if there were moments. Oh yeah, we got that comment. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure we got everybody. Well, cool. Thank you, everybody. And as they say on the Brickanista Broadcast Network, thank you, and may the clutch be with you. Take care, everybody. Bye.
thanks for having us. See ya.
Oops.